This time on Yorkshireman models we're doing the Curtis Tomahawk. It's from Airfix, 172 scale. It is a starter set, it's one of those from Aldi. You see you get 4 paints, some glue and a brush, although I'll probably not be using the glue. You get 1 decal scheme, as you can see on the back there, and it's got cartograph decals, and in all honesty I think the $6.99 are the cracking little kits for the price. We'll be getting the paints and that as well. But without further ado, we'll crack on with kit, we'll get it built, and then we'll talk more about the actual what you get and everything like that at the end of the video. So let's crack on, let's get it opened. Right, first off it's calling you to actually paint these up, these parts, and you glue them together, which is fair enough, it's fine. And then the actual seat area sits in after. My problem is that I will break that off, 100% guaranteed it will get broke off. So I'm cutting it off now, even before I start and mess with any of this. That's coming off, I'll paint it and everything, and I'll glue it on at the end. There. It's my best option, otherwise in all honesty it'll get broke off and it'll disappear. I wish they'd leave little bit, and I know it's great on them for moulding now they've done it, but I wish they'd leave little fine pieces off and then they'll go on at the end, they'll just go into a little hole or something. I find it easier, and I think a lot of other modelers do as well. But there you go, that's what I'm going to do with that. Right, this is the cockpit section that we're on about. You build this up first, and then when you put the fuselage on top it all becomes one cockpit like that. They've done this a few times to Airfix with the kits. It's alright, it works alright, and you do actually get in easy to paint it all up, but there is a few parts. You've got your seat, dash and joystick control column, we would call it. You'll see I'm using my Tamiya extra thin. This is cockpit green. You don't get this with kit, but they tell you to paint it brown, but every picture I've looked at online shows you them as green, even in the desert camouflage colours like this one is, so it's going green. I mean, it don't really make a great deal of difference if you do it the other way, but and I'm just touching up some of the detail, as they say, in the cockpit area, the sides and that. You can see there though, the black that you get with it is quite a thick paint. It's a bit sludgy, but it's usable, and that's the main thing. These decals I'm putting on with Microsol and Microset. It's my preferred one for cartograph decals. I have got Mr. Mark Setter and that, but I find it's very harsh to the decals. It tends to melt them a bit, so for cartograph, because they're a very thin decal, I just use my favourite, which is Microsol and Set for these. Just press any excess art with your cotton bud and it'll be fine. Pieces pressed together lovely. It does line up okay, it's not too bad. I just work my way around like this, hold them together for a second, and you just move on like that. You can see a big indentation there at the back where that it's not moulded properly. I've got to sort that out as I go along. I'll have to fill it. I'm using Tamiya's. It's a thicker cement glue. It's spot on for out like this where you just want to get the wings in and get them held down really tight, and I find it's a good one. But like I say, it is fixed so it don't run into joints like your Tamiya extra thin. This one, that does. That's the wings and the fuselage together, steadily coming along. It's looking nice. You definitely need tweezers for that there. I'll be honest, I tried to put it on first without them. I couldn't even get it in place with my fingers, so if you've got a pair of tweezers, very helpful. Again, this piece here, that needed a heck of a lot of sanding to get that to fit in right. There's quite a few pieces on this kit that have not moulded well, and that one there, I must have spent 5-10 minutes constantly sanding to get rid of some massive deformities in it. They were terrible. Rear pieces now going on, and you're starting to see the full size and shape of the aircraft now. These just push in lovely. In fact, they're that tight to fit. You don't have to worry too much with the glue. Tailpiece on. That's the majority of the kit actually built now. We're just now putting little pieces in like the exhausts. And this is my favourite filler. It's Vallejo's plastic putty. And all you do is put it in like that, fill it up, and then just rub over with either a wet cotton, but I've got an IPA, isopropyl alcohol in that, just to rub over the top. And that's it. It comes straight off any excess. It saves loads of sanding like that. This wheel here, that cracked. As I was putting that centre piece in, wasn't forcing it. I was just pushing it in, and I just heard crack. And yeah. Now, I don't know whether it's because, again, some of these pieces, they've got a lot of deformity on them. I've had to clean them up a lot. But I've had to fill that there just so it were alright. This is Mr. Surfacer 1500. It's my grey one. I'm running out of black, so for these smaller kits I'm using this. I'm going to order some more anyway soon. My black one, my favourite. I do prefer it black, so I think it helps highlight the panel lines and that as well. But you just blast this over everything, and then it gives it a good base so you can get your paints on. And it definitely helps with umbrella paints, because they have a horrid, I find, surface tension problem, which if there's no there, they just seem to float all over plastic, really. This is obviously the colour that you get with it, the base one, and now I'm going to blast the what I'd call the base brown on, which is the light one. I'll paint the darker one over the top for the camouflage. And this is the camouflage, done with blue tack, as you can see. Now this paint, you can just see there, it's coming out thin. Now it was quite thickish in the pot, so I've had to thin it down quite a bit, and I've probably over thinned it, but I'll do multiple go overs with it, and it is drying quick, so I'll just go over it again and again until I get the consistency that I want. For when you look at it, it don't look like it's faded too much. This is all my masking tape and that. If you've not watched my videos before, frog tape, get some frog tape, the delicate surface one. It's not quite as good as Tamiya's, but it's not far off. I use Tamiya's for more detailed stuff, and frog tape just to hide, well, protect big areas. Just take my blue tack off. Just rubs off like that. Got to be careful there. I did actually start to pull the actual cannons away a bit there, which is a bit unlucky if you break them off, but they can glue back. Again, small parts, small tiny little parts like that. To my head, I don't know why they just can't do it where you can just push them in after. That mask that you see on that wheel there, that's one I've made myself. I've got a little compass cutter, does them brilliantly. Not expensive, but at the end of the day, it used to do my head in painting them, so I've gone and got myself one. Does help. You'll see here, it leaves a brilliant circle, to be honest, compared to how I've been doing them. There, look. Right, decals on this. Very, very wary when I'm putting shark's teeth in and they're going around multiple surfaces like this. I'm terrible with them. I don't know why. I usually end up ripping them, but it takes a bit of pushing into place, but it does do it. And then I just wipe off with cotton bud after. Just make sure you get as much of any excess fluid out and air so that you don't get any silvering and that. These side ones are easy enough to fit. They just lay perfectly over it. And they look well. They're a nice decal, to be honest, cartographs. You can't knock them. Better than what it was years ago before they come out with them, that's for sure. This is the full process how I do a decal. I have my solutions in them pens. They're very easy to use then like that. You're not messing about with an open pot. And then I just put my decal straight onto some solution. Then I just push it about a little bit. Get it to where roughly you're happy with. That's where you want it. And then steadily I just press the actual fluid out that's underneath it. And if you steadily go around it doing that, it'll start to take where it is. And you can slowly press more and more out until you've got your decal fully down. And then when you're finished, you just, if you want the softener to go over the top, you just paint a bit of softener over after they've dried. And then that way you'll find the sink into the panel lines better. My usual, I always like to do panel lining, so I put a bit of thin panel lining down and I just rub it off with my kitchen towel. Cotton buds for hard areas to get to. It's coming off alright, but I can already see I'm having problems with this Tamiya gloss off Purom. Not so sure I should be using it anymore for these. We started to get towards the end here with putting last parts on. These bays here where you've got your small parts that you're pouring in. Just be careful when you're doing it, and again a pair of tweezers does help. Put the wheels in. I don't know why, but it's a loose fit for me. Don't think it should really be that much of a loose fit, but it is. You've got propeller now, it's a 3-piecer. Easy enough to do. Just be careful how much glue you're putting on, because you don't want it to ruin the paint that you've already put on. That's if you paint these first like me. It don't make no difference really when you're painting it after, if you get a little bit of glue spillage. I always sand it off if need be, but I've gone for the prep it all up first. They just push in. It's simple enough design, and it's alright. It looks well when it's done. I'm using some AK weathering pencils here. This is the aluminium or silver as you'd call it, but this one's makes it's great for a little touch like that, just to make it look like it's got a little bit of damage from, or weathering as we like to call it over the years, or days probably they were using it. A little bit where they're walking on and off, so going up and down to get into the cockpit. I'm not overdoing it, it's only little bits here and there. I don't want to go mad. Just slightly tapping it, a little rubbing it. Just don't want to put tons on. This is the smoke effect one. I'll probably talk more about that at the end, but for the guns here it doesn't seem too bad, but yeah. Put the side canopy, cockpit, whatever you want to call it, clear parts on. I've used a little bit of red and white just to do them lights, I believe they are. Take my masking off. If there is a video, it'll show you how I do the canopies and that like this. If you want to look through my videos and see it, it will show you how to do them, makes them a bit easier than trying to paint them by hand. There. Nearly completed. And it is now just the propeller. I do like to add them at the end. I know they show you halfway through build to add it, but I find it just gets in the way for painting, masking and everything else. I'd just, first off, if you're not a subscriber, then please subscribe. Do the channel a great deal of help if you subscribe, really would. I'd be grateful. And it's same, give me a thumbs up if you're happy. So, First off, I've lost the clear part that sits in there. I know it's not a lot, but does your head in when you lose parts. It really does. Does mine anyway. So, bad parts about this kit, and there has been. There's no doubts about it. That piece there took some right sanding to get that down. Really badly moulded, properly deformed, so I had to really work at that one. You had a big indentation mould, whatever's gone wrong with it at this back section here, and I had to fill that then with filler. If you in the video, you've probably seen it. It had like white filler inside. These wings, one of them weren't so bad, but the other had a massive gap, and it's still partly there, even though I filled it. To me, there were one sprue were really bad. You could see it should have been binned in my view. They should have seen that and binned it, because you could see it from a mile away. When I opened the box, well, the parts, and I were looking at them, right, you could see that there were mistakes on it. But it is what it is. I mean, the $6.99 boxes are. It's hard to complain too much, but yes, you have paid and you do expect a good kit from it. Now, parts on my side, which are my fault. I liked the AK weathering pencil, the silver. Did a really good job, I thought, on these bits here, where it's just to make it look a little bit worn, and especially down here, and little bits about. I could have gone more, but I didn't want to overdo it. But the smoke one, I don't rate that. I mean, I think it looks rubbish. Well, rubbish myself. I think it's. You can see it's like drawn onto me, and I don't like that. It don't represent how good you can do them. That's that. Now, I'm trying to use up some of my paints. I've got a lot of paints. Now I've got a couple of bottles of Tamiya Clear, and I'm trying to use up some of that rather than my preferred glosses. Now the Tamiya Clear I've got, I don't know. I don't rate it as good as others, but when I've put my pin wash on and I'm wiping it off, yes, it's coming off all right. But if you look, it started taking some off. It's only faint, you can see it there. It's a little bit there. Started taking the actual colour off as well. And to me, it shouldn't be getting to that. It's meant to be protected by the gloss. The gloss is not doing it, or the clear coat as they call it. It's not protecting it right. Don't think I'm going to use it ever again when I'm going to do a pin wash, because I don't think it works very well, to be honest. So that's another mistake on my side, as they say. Decals, as usual, across the cartograph, absolutely perfect. All went down well with Microsoft. Absolutely fantastic. Even the shark's teeth, which I can have problems with that. I didn't get it on easily, but it went on in the end, so I'm happy enough with that. Am I happy with the kit? Honestly, I don't know. It's one of them, there's been that many mistakes with it, or stuff that's gone wrong for me. I don't know if I'm happy enough with it. I think I would have been happier if I weren't like there were the mould problems with it. I'd have been happy, because then that's my fault. It's not the kit's fault. But it's built, and I think she looks alright. Oh, one other thing. My blue tack masking system didn't work as well as it normally does, because if you look, I've got some bleeding effects on that bit there. Probably should have pushed it down more, nipped it off a bit. It's the only place it's happened really, but I did get a little bit there. I done paints. They were all alright. A couple were a little bit too thick for my liking, but I've got to thin them all anyway to put them through airbrush. So, but if you've got, even if you're hand brushing, to be honest with these, you've got to thin them a little bit. Otherwise, they're just sludging. The paint just sits on that thick. You end up with no panel lines left hardly and that. So they're all right. They worked. Glue, don't use it. And the reason I don't use it is that nozzle system there. It's way too fat, lets too much glue out, you've no control, before you know it you've got a ruined model. That's why I don't use it. I think it's the worst thing about these starter kits is the glue, if you ask me. The brush, let me just get a bit of white there. Sorry about that. you can see there with bristles all over from that. That's because that brush has just been whacked straight into that, and it's not being made showing fat. You can see there, that's, you can even see it, they've caught it and they've just dragged bristles back. Now I've got loads of these, that don't matter too much, but if you're using that for the first time, you'd have to cut them bristles off that are folded over. Can't be doing them when the brushes are no good like that. You need to sort them out before you start using them, in my view, that's all. But if you've enjoyed the video, nice one. And hopefully you'll be around for my next one. And hopefully it'll not end up as much of a, I won't say ruined, but not as good a quality as I usually like to build a kit. So thanks a lot for watching everybody, and I'll catch you around later.